Greetings YouTube fans and welcome back to Koza channel. I'm your host Koza. So this time we're going to be doing something a little different than I have in the past. I want to do a kind of overview of some of the games I've played, and I'll be doing this as I finish games. I'll be kind of adding them to this list. We've got 3 on the list today: Alan Wake, Fists of Awesome, and Full Mojo Rampage. So we'll get started from the top. Alan Wake, and here's a little clip of me playing it. I'm just curious, like, what human being, supernatural or otherwise, could survive 5 shotgun, even 2 shotgun blasts to the face. Can I push it that way? Of course I can. I mean, usually 1 will drop a person. I mean, I know those guys are big, but that's hardly an excuse. What, am I supposed to follow it? Oh, okay. I was gonna say, that seems like a terrible idea. Nope. No, thank you. And yeah, as you can see, it is a horror third-person FPS game. I don't know if I'd really count it as horror. More story than horror, but there are some scary parts. Definitely a hard game in some aspects, but not too terribly so. Not Dark Souls hard. But there are some points where there's a lot of monsters you got to deal with, which does become quite a pain. But generally, the story is pretty good. The transitions between different areas is really nice. It's a very story-based game in that that's kind of the whole point of it. You're doing puzzles and things like that, but there's a lot of dialogue and there's a lot of overtones and things going on, even in the background. That kind of help lead to it. You're always progressing through terrain, and it always kind of it's leading you. It feels like you're actually progressing the story instead of run through, kill a bunch of monsters, and then you're at the end or you reach the next checkpoint. Every step of the way feels like you're actually living out part of the story. So it's really nice. It feels really smooth. The gun mechanic is always kind of. Well, not the gun, but the item mechanic is always a little weird for this game, because every now and then it kind of just like, and you don't get anything now, and you don't get anything now, and you don't. And it's like over and over and over again. You collect up a bunch of guns, you get a bunch of ammo, and so on, and then it just like suddenly it takes everything away, and you've only got a pistol again, which is kind of annoying. I understand the reasoning for kind of wanting to keep it hard and making you want to have to keep looking for ammo. You never get to a point where you're set on ammo, which that makes sense. But for those of you out here that don't like that, that is an aspect of it. Talking a lot about the bad parts too. I want to make sure to kind of give the full kind of scope on these games when I give their descriptions, so that you kind of think of it as a purchasing helper, whether you want to buy the game. The game is on Steam. I don't know how much it is right now off the top of my head. I'll have the link to it or something down in the description if you are interested in purchasing it yourself. One other point I wanted to add about this game is the story is actually kind of interesting. At first it seems kind of dull and predictable, but it actually does kind of pick up at a couple different points of, there's little things that you don't expect. Not super big twists, not anything like, whoa, what a twist! But still pretty good, still pretty interesting. They keep you kind of guessing about it, which is nice. But anyway, that's all for Alan Wake. I definitely had a lot of fun playing it. It was very amusing. And the gunplay is fun. It's kind of interesting with the light mechanics. Again, not a scary game by any respect. So if you're one who kind of avoids, the horror side of the things like that, I would still recommend Alan Wake, because it doesn't really bring in a lot of strong horror tactics. There's a couple jump scares and weird things, but nothing, it doesn't set the mood too terribly strong for an actual horror kind of thriller more than anything, which still good. But anybody who's avoiding it for a horror reason, I would say still check it out. It's still a really good game. If not, though, there are always the videos, which will also be down in the description if you want to go check those out and just watch it for yourself. Then that works too. Moving on, though, we're gonna go on to Fist of Awesome. Human meat on the heat, it's not right. I assume that's his accent. Don't worry, DJ Barbecue, I'll sort all this out. That's really gross. Hey, look, it's peasants, or non-peasant bears, or whatever they are. Is that an Assassin's Creed reference? Now this was an awesome game. It's a short little game. It does get a bit dull, honestly, and there actually is more to the game that I didn't actually play on camera. There's an arena side of it where you can play with friends or something like that. I don't know. I didn't really test it out, but that's kind of, you unlock characters as you go through the game. This one, another very story-based game. You don't feel... It's not the same in Alan Wake as you feel like you're progressing. It's very stage-based, and, you know, there's a little bit of progression, but it's generally, they kind of hand you the story, and here's the story, and then you kill things, and then it progresses the story. It's very much a beat-em-up game, and it's not even a very unique beat-em-up game in that there's like 2 attacks aside from punch and kick. Like, there's really nothing to kind of move up to, and gaining your stats really didn't seem to affect much either. You kind of have to make sure that you don't fall too behind, because the bears do actually get stronger. Oh, by the way, you're punching bears, so I mean, you can't really go wrong with this game. But it is short, it is pretty repetitive, but you know, if you like the beat 'em up games and you like beating up bears, then you'll probably like this game as well. And here's me beating up the bears now. And that's pretty much it. Again, links down in the description if you want to check it out, as well as the link to all the videos that I did of it. So if you just kind of want to watch it and see if you like it, definitely do that. I would definitely, I guess I should put some kind of rating system in these. Alan Wake, I'd probably give a 7.5 out of 10. Fist of Awesome, probably more around a 6. It was still decent, but could have been better. There could have been more to it, and of course there was the whole arena side to it where you play with friends, and I'm sure that would have kind of brought the numbers up a little bit, but I didn't actually interact with it too much. So anyway, moving on to Full Mojo Rampage.
Yeah, we're gonna need to be really careful, because this guy's gonna get really dangerous really fast. I can't seem to hit his stupid tiny head. Alright, down. No, let's not break that one up. I'm gonna finish this one off first. There we go. Down, and oh, we got a candy too. Nice. Oh, which we gotta immediately use.
Now this game, oh, I loved this game. It was great. It was again another. It was not a beat 'em up game. It's kind of like a shooter hell type of thing. It is a third person. No, not third. It's a top down shooter of a kind. In that you've got your little guy and you run around and you've got a staff and he shoots different effects. You can get different wands and items and all other sorts of things. And there's an earning system in the game, so you can earn new gods, and each god gives you new power. And it was a good game. It was a really hard game at some points, especially because it had one mechanic that I didn't like too terribly much in it, in that if you failed once, you failed everything. You had to pretty much do everything in one go, which made it very difficult to actually get through the game. I had to play each level sometimes 4 or 5 times before I actually made it to the end of the level, because you couldn't die even once. You had one life and you had to go from start of the level to the end of the level, which was 5 or 6 different levels for each one, and that made it really hard. It was still a lot of fun though, even with that difficulty. It was still very enjoyable, and that didn't detract from it too much. It's kind of a personal thing that I didn't like it. I think it could have done a little better with the option to not do that. But even still, I wouldn't use that as a point to really not recommend the game. It was still a very good game, and I definitely recommend it. I would put this one probably at an 8, I think. I think an 8 would be good. A lot of the different items were really unique and cool. A lot of the different wands, the bosses. There was a lot of really interesting comedy and silliness going on. generally a lot of fun. In the quests, each kind of story arc was a it wasn't really a story. There wasn't really too terribly much story in the game, but each kind of story arc was its own little quest, and it had, you know, little points about it, and each one kind of went about it in a little different way and how you progress through it, which was kind of cool. I really enjoyed that. So yeah, it generally a really good game. There's been some gameplay. One of these sides, I don't know, playing while I talk. But yeah, so I would definitely recommend full Mojo Rampage as well. Again, 8 out of 10, I think. And again, if you want to check any of these out on my YouTube channel, just check down below. I've got the links to all the videos, links to all the games themselves. And on my website, that's kozachannel.com, www.kozachannel.com. If you go there, I'll have all the games that I'm currently running as well as the ones I've finished. So you can check those out even before I get these reviews up, and I have the links to all of their websites. So you can, you know, download them or check them out or anything like that yourself, as well as a short little description on the game. Also, the pictures on my website will link back to the YouTube playlist. So once you're there, if you see a game you're interested in, you want to watch it, you can click the picture. It'll take you straight to the playlist. You can check the game out yourself. That site usually is a couple videos behind, so there may not be some series that I'm running right now, but they will be up there eventually. So check back in often. As well as some of the older ones, the ones that I've already finished that may not be, you know, directly up on the YouTube channel. They'll be back there, so you can go back through them and look through the logs and everything. But yeah, so that's it. Let me know if you guys liked this review, if you enjoyed it, if it was helpful to you at all. If not, oh well. But I will be doing more of these on games as I finish them, to kind of let you guys know a real quick review of the games, what they were like, what they were about, and how good I thought they were. Of course, you know, different for every person, but my personal opinion. Anyway, that's all for today. So thank you for tuning in, and definitely tune into our next review, because next up we're going to have Gone Home Brothers and Five Nights at Freddy's, and I'll be going over those and kind of explaining them and telling you how terrifying Five Nights at Freddy's was. Oh my god, I couldn't even finish that game. But that's for a different review, so tune in then.